I'm going to tell you a story for those of you who are new to this channel, or newish to this channel. And it started a few years ago on a beach, Santa Monica, when I announced something that was based on something I'd announced on the hill, Crow Hill, behind me. And that was that I was going to make an album. And I thought it would be fun when making that album to create a sample library in plain sight. These things tend to be quite secretive. I thought, would it be fun to show people how I sample, how to record stuff and edit it and put it into samplers? I then thought, well, wouldn't it be a fun idea if I got you to help me make this sample library? And thought, but probably need to think of something that is relatively easy to sample, not easy to sample well, but easy to sample acceptably. And I thought pianos. So we went to work on creating a way in which we could exchange pianos via WeTransfer. And this announcement on the beach was that we were going to start. And I thought, wouldn't it be romantic if not only did you send me your piano samples, but if you maybe told me about the stories behind them, because I have a romantic view about pianos. No single day will a piano sound like any other, and they have a lifespan, and they bear witness to everyone who has played them. So this, and then I felt, well, it's a bit unfair me getting everyone to share all of these pianos, and I'm the only one who gets to use it. So I thought, oh, we could do a site where instead of people just uploading, they could also download them from WeTransfer. And it was met with a certain degree of enthusiasm, and WeTransfer didn't like it a lot. So we immediately had to transfer everything. My friend Stephen Talamy and I, amazingly supportive pal, who went, this sounds like a fun idea, I can help you with it. So anyway, so Piano Book was born, and a few months into that project, one of you said, it's kind of a bit non-inclusive, isn't it? Because not everyone has access to pianos. And so, yeah, I mean, what's to stop people putting any instruments up? And then I sampled a Rusty Squeaky Gate for a competition, which meant I had to listen to dozens of Squeaky Gate sample libraries. And I think this opened up the floodgates for us, in not just for people who had access to pianos, not people who had just had access to instruments, but that anything in your surroundings could be turned into an instrument. And it really kicked off. I think we had 300,000 people using it, and there were just tons of sample libraries. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it changed some people's lives. Certainly people made friends. And what was great about Piano Book was that people, who were strong in one area helped people who were strong in another area and combined forces. So it was a very proud thing to be involved in. But we had what's called a success problem, and that was literally the cost of running it. It was something I set up on my own with the help of Stephen Talamy and Simon Fife and a lot of volunteers. But I was financing it and just couldn't afford it. So I handed custodianship over to Spitfire Audio, and I retired. And it was fine. It felt like a good match. And I'm part owner of the company and was working there, so it felt cool, a good thing to do. And then I retired. And I have to admit to you that I have very, very few regrets in life. One of them is never flying Concorde. But other than that, I remember saying to my family, I think of all the things I'm going to regret. One is letting go of Piano Book, not only losing control, but access to that community. So it's been a tricky old few years, somewhat saddening for me, because it was of the things that I thought up, Labs, BBC Discover, lots of weird stuff like Evos and Albions. I have to say that Piano Book was my proudest achievement, and I felt there was so much further to go with it. So I've been talking to Spitfire Audio, and they have graciously agreed to hand back custodianship to myself and the incredibly loyal team that is Stephen Tallamy and Simon Fife. Simon, who kept the thing going for as long as he could. So what does this mean? Well, we've got the keys back to the truck, and we're basically in the process of migrating everything over to our servers and all of that kind of stuff. So it'll be, I wouldn't say business as usual. We're going to be looking at some of the submissions that have been made and haven't been posted. We're going to reignite the social media. But also what we're going to do, one of the biggest problems with Piano Book was the word piano and the fact that it was a fairly kind of cheap, I don't know, copying Facebook, which is not a platform that I particularly admire. But we never found that there was an appropriate opportunity for us to rebrand it, except for now. We really feel it's a new chapter, and it's not been as active. Something I learned very early on with Piano Book is that you've got to zhuzh things along. So I guess the first thing that's going to happen is that I'm going to get back to making stuff and experimenting stuff and sharing that with you. I'll get my sounds back up on Piano Book. I've got some amazing stuff I've been working on in the background that I'd love to share with you. But we will get to work on rebranding. And in fact, I think you're going to be quite excited by the URL that we've managed to obtain, and that is X-Samples. Sorry, it's a really bad joke. I'm going to announce this on Tuesday next week. It's a great name, and I think it would be great to talk to Simon and Stephen about the next steps and what we will be doing. But the thing that I did with Piano Book from the outset was involve you from the outset. So whilst it may seem like an eternity whilst we're changing stuff up and making things better, you will be involved in every part of the process. And in so doing, I would love to talk to you about what you felt worked, what you felt didn't work. My ambition is to turn this into a legitimate revenue source for as many people as possible. That doesn't mean it's going to be suddenly just a paid for thing. There's going to be no subscriptions or anything like that, unless you think it's a good idea. But more that when people get to a certain level of being able to create sounds, artistry, samples, that there is an opportunity for them, independent of any gatekeepers, to earn money and to mobilize their own social media, etc., to market it. And I certainly am looking forward to working with, I think my plan is to work with 12 artists over 12 months to help them see how this could be a new revenue source for artists. So that's my initial thoughts. I think what we'll probably do is a town hall meeting, which you can come to IRL, or indeed online, and we'll probably do that in London. And the one head scratcher at the moment is how we finance this, because I don't have 2 brass farthings to rub together at the moment. And I'm thinking something that I think would be highly appropriate for this project could be crowdfunding. So we're researching it. So I've got indigestion. I've been so excited to tell you all this. We'll be researching that. But if any of you have experience of that, do get in touch. Comments down below are best placed as ever. And we'll get this conversation started. I guess one of the first questions is whether we should continue with the Discord, or maybe we can put it on the discourse on Crow Hill. I know there's one vibrant area, which is David Hillowitz's part of the Discord, and happy to hand that over to David, and really looking forward to working with him with his amazing decent sampler. So, I mean, I guess this is just Piano Book version 3.0, which is going to become something else, which we will announce on Tuesday. So I think that's a good reason to subscribe to this channel. And it will probably be a separate entity from Crow Hill, but we will use Crow Hill's YouTube presence, social media presence to leverage what will become of Piano Book. And I'll be turning the keys in Piano Book's YouTube channel, which has been very much dormant for a while. So anyway, I know I let this slip out a few weeks ago for those of you who look at my live stuff on Instagram, and that was premature. I apologize for that. But we do have everything back now. So it's back to the people who created it in the first place, and I think it's a magical opportunity, and my family and I are absolutely, really thankful for the people who have made this possible, and they know who they are. So, as I said, Spitfire graciously has returned custodianship back to me, back to Stephen, Simon, but also to you. And I think, if anything, we should look at the last few years as a hiatus where we could reflect on what made Piano Book really great, and trying to get back to that, and then taking it on a step. So all I can say is I love you lots, and I'm utterly delighted to be cracking on with this. And we've got some new faces and some old faces that are gonna help us massage this along. That was the wrong use of words. Anyway, join us on Tuesday. We'll make it a premiere. It still hasn't sunk in, but I'm so utterly delighted and excited to get this going again. So as I said, lots of love to you. Do subscribe, ding the bell to be notified, because we're going to put that video up on Thursday as a premiere. I'll try and get the link up as early as possible. And let's get sampling.